Bannock, fresh from the pan. Crackers crumble, tortillas mold, but Bannock is forever. And this quick and easy basic Bannock recipe will have you set for all sorts of carbs. From plain, sweet, savory, it's all up to your imagination. Stick around and we'll show you how to make it. Hi, I'm Robert from Trailmeister, and when I'm not on the trail or in camp, I'm helping people gain the skills and the confidence to realize their dreams of trail riding and camping with horses. Before we get too much further, please click on those like, share, and subscribe buttons, and please use our Amazon links to help us keep creating content for you. Let's get in the kitchen. Welcome to my kitchen. Just as all good camping trips start with proper preparation, so does Bannock. Bannock is a simple quick bread that cooks up similar to a scone or a biscuit. The ingredients are few, the preparation is easy, and I think that's why it was a staple for outdoorsmen of old and even to now. My standard Bannock recipe only has 6 total ingredients. 4 of those are dry, and that's what we're going to work on now. 1 cup of flour, all-purpose is fine. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, kosher please. 2 tablespoons of powdered milk. This gives the bread a finer texture and helps with browning. And our magical, mystical leavening agents. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. This is going to help turn our dough into a light, airy, and delicious treat instead of a brick. Yeast would be even better, but I'm not going to spend that much time cooking in camp. Baking powder is a combination of a base, sodium bicarbonate, baking soda, as well as an acid, typically cream of tartar, I think. When you add water, you get bubbles and a light, fluffy batter. That being said, baking powder does have a weird, chemically salty, it's got a weird taste. So use it with a light hand, just enough to lift the batter. Also with baking powder, there's a best by date on the bottom of the can. Make sure that you're within it. Now let's get back to the regular episode. One of the reasons that I really like this basic Bannock recipe is that it's just a base layer. I can add things to it to make it savory. I could add things to it to make it a sweet. Really, the only limit is your imagination. So once you have this base recipe down and you're comfortable with it, the sky's the limit. Once you have all the dry ingredients together, just dump them into a Ziploc bag, label it, throw them into your bear-resistant container. You also want to remember to bring some oil. You're going to need that both for the mix and to fry it. This is a quick pan-fry bread. So make sure you have all that together. And now let's head back to the tent and do some cooking. Welcome to my camp kitchen. Once you're in camp and ready to eat, it's time to get the stuff out. So handy dandy pannier box, our bear container, Bannock mix, a little bit of oil, and some water. This is all we need. We're going to want to get the rest of our things together as well. Today I'm going to use our Nova stove, a flippy device, my favorite cook pan, and a bowl to mix the dough in. So I want to hold a little bit of my dough out because I'm going to be rolling it, and I want a little bit to keep it from sticking. So I'll use a little bit more. A couple tablespoons of oil, olive please. I guess that's about enough. Sometimes I don't measure as much as I should. And then a 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup of water. I guess that's about it. Now just mix it up. And what I'm looking for is a good stiff dough that I can roll out. So here's an example of a dough that's entirely too runny. So I am glad that I kept some out. There we go. Our dough is coming together. And once you have the Bannock mix mixed together. Now what I like to do is I like to roll it out a little bit, just so it's a little bit easier to handle. So, since rolling pins are sometimes hard to find in the backcountry, what I'm going to do, dump our dough out. So it's just a nice soft dough, as I like to roll it out into biscuits, because hey, we're civilized. And since I don't take a rolling pin with me, or I guess I do take a rolling pin with me. There's my backcountry rolling pin. And I gotta say, it works pretty darn well. And my backcountry biscuit cutter. I use the inside of the pannier box because it's a lot cleaner than the outside. The great thing about camp cooking is the camp cook doesn't have to do dishes. And now we'll set up our cook station. So our heat source today is going to be our Nova Optimus stove, mostly because I can really control the heat on this. And know when the stove is ready because the flame turns blue. And to check the temperature, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of water, and if I can get a water droplet to kind of dance and skitter across the bottom of this plate, then I know we're, call it 350, 375 or so. I don't want the skillet to be too hot because then the outside will be burned and the inside will be raw. And that's never good eats. A nice glug of olive oil. So some of the things that I really like about Bannock is that it's a backcountry staple. You can hear stories about Bannock back in the days of the old fur traders and such. And even with that though, heavens, it's got Roman roots. The roots for Bannock come from Latin and means baked bread, which is pretty much what we're doing. Fresh baked bread in camp. Crackers crumble, tortillas mold, but Bannock is forever. For me, warm bread in the backcountry, now that's worse camping. From biscuits like this to empanadas, plain, sweet, savory, it's up to your imagination. This basic Bannock recipe can set you free. Well, I hope you enjoy this Bannock recipe as much as we do. As always, for more practical information about trail riding and camping, both front country and back, as well as more recipes, give us a visit at trailmeister.com. We're also the world's largest guide to horse trails and camps. And please, use our Amazon links to help us keep creating content for you. Until next time, good eats and happy trails.